Folks, 6 years ago, I made a video about a movie titled Fateful Findings, an independent film about a man who hates laptops and also uses his supernatural abilities to take down the big evil corporations. Later that year, I also made a video about a movie called Twisted Pair, a film about two identical twin brothers who become hybrid artificial intelligence entities, with one of the twins using their powers for good and the other for evil. Both of these films were written, directed, edited, and also starred a man named Neil Breen. For those of you who are unfamiliar, since 2005, Neil Breen has been creating cinematic masterpieces for all of us to enjoy.
I can't believe you committed suicide.
Each movie of his usually stars him as the superpowered outcast who takes down the big evil corporation and gets the girl in the end. But each one has its own unique spin. And over the years, Neil Breen has amassed a devoted cult following of people who are just champing at the bit for the next Neil Breen project. Neil Breen truly is the physical embodiment of independent filmmaking. You can have your opinions about Neil Breen's films, but at the end of the day, you have to admire the fact that every time he makes a movie, he makes the exact film that he wanted to make. And for that reason, I've been a fan of Neil Breen for years now, which is why I was so excited when he announced back in 2021 that he was beginning production on his newest film. And in this announcement, he said he was looking for possible investors. And when I saw this announcement, I knew I needed to be a part of this. Think of how amazing that would be. My name in lights. And by lights, I mean the credits of a Neil Breen film. So I shot my shot. I sent Mr. Breen a DM on Twitter that said, "Hey Neil, are you still looking for investors for your next film?" And candidly, I've been trying to get a hold of Neil Breen for years to come on my podcast and just talk about his creative process. But that man is impossible to get a hold of. So when I sent this DM, I assumed he would never respond. But 5 hours later, I get a response from Neil Breen. And he said, "Yes. What amount were you considering investing? Then we can discuss details." And I'm going to be honest, I didn't really have an exact number in mind because it's usually the job of the person who's producing the film to tell the possible investors how much money they need, right? Like, you know, on Shark Tank, and people walk in and they're like, "Hey, sharks, I am seeking this much money, and for that, you get this much percentage." And then they negotiate from there. Neil had a different plan, which I have to admire. He basically did the equivalent of someone walking into the Shark Tank and being like, "All right, what do you guys want to give me?" So, needing more information, I said, "Do you have an investment package you can send over that includes the different options?" Seemed fair, right? But to that, he said, "We need to pre-qualify you first. What films have you invested in? Did you receive co-producer or producer credit? I'm new to film investing, so this would be my first venture. I've invested in other businesses and mediums, but this would be my first film investment." No response. At this point, I'm panicking, right? Did I blow it? Did I say something wrong? Should I have lied? So, in an act of desperation, I follow up the next day with a harmless, "Let me know." And to that, he said, "You never stated the amount of your potential investment," which was true, but like I said before, I was waiting for something he could send me that would like outline the budget and like how much he needed and like what, just like something for me to like look over and analyze, right? So in response, I just said, "If you can send me an investment package, I can provide an accurate number for you." And to that, he said, "No thanks. We prefer to work with film investors who have experience." I was devastated. I finally had the opportunity to be a part of something amazing, and I blew it. I let it slip through my fingers, all because I didn't have prior film investing experience. And it's like, how am I supposed to get experience if every opportunity requires prior experience, right? Like, that's a catch-22. Could you imagine if the job market was like that? That'd be a nightmare. Sadly, that would be the final message Neil ever sent me. I just responded and I wished him luck on his next project, and that was that. And for years, in the back of my mind, I just kept thinking, I kept imagining what could have Breen. Fast forward a little bit, 2 years later, 2023, Neil Breen announces his newest movie, Cade the Tortured Crossing, a direct sequel to Twisted Pair. Now, don't worry if you haven't seen Twisted Pair before watching this video. This new movie hardly has anything to do with it, if I'm being honest. All you need to know about Twisted Pair, two twin brothers named Cade and Kale. They're both superpowered cyborgs. Cade is a good one, Kale is the evil one. But in a series of tweets announcing the cities where this new film would be screening, I saw Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, my hometown. He was taunting me. He was fucking taunting me, okay? He knew. But I put my sadness aside, and as soon as those tickets became available, I purchased them. And I drove my ass out to Hamilton, and I watched Cade the Tortured Crossing in a packed theater at Playhouse Cinema in downtown Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And sorry to spoil it, but guys, it was his best work yet. It was amazing, okay? I left that theater a changed man because I pooped my pants. It was so good. It changed my diapers. I was a changed man. As soon as I saw this movie, I knew I had to make a video about it. So, when Cade the Tortured Crossing was later released on DVD, I bought it immediately. Yeah, that's the second time I bought this movie. And I purchased that DVD in October of last year, and I have yet to receive it. I know Neil does things a little differently. Maybe the shipping process is a little obscure. Maybe he put the DVD like around a pigeon's head, a little hole. And then he was just like, deliver this to Curtis. But since I didn't receive that DVD, that only meant I was extra excited when he recently announced that Cade the Tortured Crossing was now available on digital. Yes! So yeah, I bought the film for a third time. And finally, I got it! And we're gonna talk about it today. Before we do though, I urge you to please buy or rent Cade the Tortured Crossing and just watch it with a group of friends. And I promise you, it will be the most enjoyable movie experience you've had all year. So please, go watch the full thing. It is so awesome. I will put the link in my description to rent or buy it. So yeah, please go support it. It is a lot of fun, and you'll have a blast. All right, now we got all the lore out of the way. Let's hear a word from today's sponsor. Thank you so much to Midas Merge for sponsoring this video. Folks, the past few weeks, I've been playing Midas Merge on my phone, and oh my god, I've been having so much fun. Midas Merge is a Merge 3 game where players combine creatures and treasures strategically, completing quests and harnessing the sun's energy to dispel the darkness cast by Nyx, the goddess of night. She's bad! And let me tell you guys real quick, this is the cutest game I've ever played. I'll say it. Especially because the video games I usually play are stressful and infuriating and scary. So playing this adorable and rewarding game the past few weeks has honestly been so enjoyable, you have no idea. You get all these adorable creatures that you can evolve by merging items. My personal favorite creatures are the Crystal Fawns, which you can transform into these even cuter level 3 creatures. Adorable, man. It's crazy. And the gameplay of Midas Merge is so rewarding. Basically, in the world of Midas Merge, like I said, the Gardens of Gold have been cast under shadow by the evil goddess of night, and you have to restore brightness to the garden and free its super cute inhabitants. And you're able to like clearly see your progression and look back, and I don't know, it's just so satisfying figuring out ways to merge your way through the map. And let me tell you, one of my least favorite things about most mobile games these days is that you always need to be connected to the internet. I hate that. It sucks. I'll be on a plane ready to play a game and it's like, no, sorry, you need high-speed Wi-Fi. Well, listen to this. You can dive into the enchanting world of Midas Merge anytime, anywhere, no Wi-Fi needed at all. Midas Merge is also free to download and ad-free with no dead ends, so you can always merge and explore without interruptions. And guys, this is super exciting. Be among the first 100 to install via my link in the description or the QR code on screen and receive a unique Mox Fox level 1. This super cute little creature boosts your garden progress and will be personalized with my name. Yeah, me, dude. So don't miss out and download right now by clicking the link in my description or scanning the QR code on screen. Honestly, I've been having like so much fun playing Midas Merge the past few weeks. Like I said, it's such a genuinely like rewarding and enjoyable game, and I truly cannot recommend it enough. Because trust me guys, once you start merging and uncovering all the adorable little surprises, you will not be able to put it down. So join me in the enchanting world of Midas Merge and let the fun begin, brother. Okay, thank you so much to Midas Merge for sponsoring this video, and don't forget to click the link in the description to install now for free and scan that QR code, guys. All right, thank you, Midas Merge. Back to the video. Hello, welcome back. Let's talk about Cade the Tortured Crossing. The movie starts with an establishing shot of Earth, so I guess we know which planet it takes place on. And then we get a title card. And dude, right out of the gate, we're getting some ingenuity, man. Where most filmmakers would put a colon after Cade and also capitalize the first letters of Tortured and Crossing, Neil cannot stop himself from innovating, dude. We then cut to a woman on the phone with the titular character Cade Altair, played by Neil Breen, of course.
Oh, where are you? Are you on your way?
Haven't forgotten about the charity event. I'm running a little late.
And you'll notice right away that this film is definitely Neil Breen's biggest creative endeavor so far. Because unlike his past films that featured scenes filmed in real-life locations with green screen shots peppered in, this entire movie, literally every single scene in this movie was filmed on a green screen, and he utilizes stock photos as the backdrop. But my favorite scenes are the ones where he tries to edit himself into stock video, like this next scene, for example. I'm guessing he saw that stock footage clip somewhere and was like, yeah, maybe my character could walk by and like get smoked by that train real quick. Yeah, that's a normal thing that happens. Also, mind you, Cade is canonically a superpowered cyborg with magical powers, yet he's just like aimlessly walking around, completely oblivious to the slowest moving train of all time. It just goes to show you, man, superpowers or not, you gotta look both ways. We then cut to a scene of this homeless person getting kidnapped, and then we see another person get kidnapped from this like dingy, abandoned hospital. And now those kidnapped people are trapped in a van along with some other kidnapped people, I assume. But luckily, Cade is there to save the day.
Please, come on! Help! Help! We're stuck!
I'll help you. I'll follow you wherever they're taking you, and I'll free you.
Instead of Cade using his superpowers to like rip the car door off its hinges, or even just using his regular human being strength to like try to break the window or something, he instead promises to follow them to wherever they're being taken and then rescue them. Makes sense. If someone is like floating down a river about to like fall off a waterfall, you don't want to rescue them while they're floating down the river, right? You just got to be like, yeah, I'll meet you at the bottom. Also super funny how monotone and quiet Cade was being when he was talking to those people. They're screaming inside of the car and he's out there just like,
I'll help you. I'll follow you wherever they're taking you, and I'll free you.
But thankfully, Cade is a man of his word. He follows the van and he sets them free.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Worst kidnappers ever, man. Sorry to critique kidnapping. I've never done it. Lord knows I've tried. But you're gonna fucking steal these people and just leave them unattended? Yeah, I got you. And you're not going anywhere. The only shot at survival you have is if a random guy in a leather jacket walks in here and says,
Get out of here.
a few times in a row. But that'll never happen. All right, so now we got the first action sequence of the film. And guys, it starts off with a bang.
Damn, we need to make this an even fight.
Fuck yeah, dude. All right, yeah, okay. All right. Several things. So I guess Cade has the ability to duplicate himself. I guess that's what he's doing right here. I don't know how much it's really doing because he clearly only knows how to do one move. It's just like one slow punch and then like a half kick punch. You know, duplicating yourself, that's a pretty cool superpower, right? Very useful in a fight, I assume. Except for the fact that he can't land a single punch on these people because I can't hear any punch sound effects. I guess they aren't either. I guess they're both kind of just... And it's frustrating that there are no punch sound effects because I know Neil knows how to edit in a punch sound effect, right? I already heard one when he got hit by that train. But anyways, the fight scene goes on for a fucking really long time. And finally, at the end of it all, Cade stands there, confused, standing above all their dead bodies. Cade then makes the dramatic textbook Neil Breen getaway, escaping just in the nick of time as the building explodes. And in the wake of the explosion, we meet some cops that will play a bigger part later on in the story.
Who was that guy?
Now that all those innocent people were rescued, Neil can finally make his way to the charity fundraiser.
I'm on my way. I'm running late.
And we get to watch this nice scene of him driving this red Ferrari to the charity event. Jesus, dude, slow down. Jeez, dude, speed up. All right, so this is actually where we find out the main plot of this film. So Cade gives this nice speech to everybody at the charity event, and in this speech he tells everybody that he has donated millions of dollars of his own money to a local failing mental hospital so they can rebuild it and save all the patients' lives.
I haven't even seen the hospital building yet. I think it's a worthy project to take on for the sake of the patients.
Yeah, and this speech goes on for a very, very long time. Cade says a bunch of generic stuff about the patients and doing good for the community.
They are. They're strength humanity. They're emotional, they're physical. We will make sure they are. It's all about them having a real path. We'll never let them down.
And in between this rambling is the same shot over and over again of this woman clapping.
Hold them back. And love.
Cade finally ends his speech and receives a standing ovation as he gracefully walks down the stairs. And you know what I gotta say? Neil's use of green screen has greatly improved since his last film. This man purchased a green staircase and never looked back because he utilizes stairs so much in this film, and I love it. It just makes everything that much more believable. But think about how much more believable it would have looked if it's with some extra money from old Kurt. All right, now we get a little more exposition, okay? This is a point where we meet all of the secondary characters. And again, most movies will let the viewer figure out on their own who these characters are, based on what they do and how they interact with each other. But when others zig, Neil zags. So this is how we find out who all the characters are.
Hi, I'm Tom. I'm the police chief around here.
Hi, I'm Dr. Megan Burns. I'm actually the director of the hospital here that's being redone.
Hi, I'm Dr. Megan Kurtz. I'm the co-director of the hospital.
Hi, I'm Andrew with Child Protective Services.
How you doing? Detective Lee here with Child Trafficking Protective Services.
Perfect. Now we know.
I will make sure they live their lives to the fullest.
Sorry, he was still giving his speech in a different room now.
I haven't even seen the hospital yet, but I was happy to give them the money.
As Cade has said repeatedly, he's never actually seen the hospital, but he is donating millions of dollars of his own money to it.
I haven't even seen the hospital building yet.
But fortunately for us, we get to see the mental hospital before Cade does. So let's see what it's like. Can't be that bad. Holy fuck. I don't think that's a hospital, dude. I think that's an abandoned, haunted building. What the fuck? Dude, fucking Jigsaw would look at this video and be like,
nah, bro, that's too dirty.
Who are these fucking doctors working there, too? Wouldn't you want to, report this to somebody? I feel bad for them, man. I feel like being a doctor is hard enough, man. You shouldn't have to worry about, ghouls and goblins at the hospital, too. It is really funny to picture these doctors, talking to regular doctors in the real world. I know, it's a hard job. I had to do a triple bypass surgery today. It took 6 hours. I didn't even have time for lunch. Oh my god, I know. It's so stressful, right? And the demons. Hello? This is not your plane of existence. Wait, hold on. Wait, what? What? Demons? Yeah, the demons. The demons at the hospital, they sometimes show up and they prey on the vulnerable and the weak, and they suck them dry until the very last moment. Oh, health insurance representative. Sorry to interrupt, but you guys gotta get down to the Nintendo store quick. They're giving out free Luigis. But even though this hospital is in shambles, they still find the time to organize field trips for the patients, which is really nice.
Get ready, we're going on a field trip.
And I don't know if this is due to a lack of actors, but you'll notice that these mental hospital patients are the same people who were kidnapped and also just rescued by Cade. So I guess they got kidnapped right after and brought here.
Hey, get those things out of my SUV. Get them out. This one too.
Why can't they have crutches in the SUV? Also, who calls their SUV an SUV? It's called a car. So many questions here, but isn't this a mental hospital? I've never been. Does everyone in a mental hospital just have a broken leg at all times? Actually, I feel like that's probably something they would have done in the 60s. Sorry, you're hearing voices in your head? Okay, well, we're gonna go ahead and break your leg, so you'll be focused on that instead. But yeah, this next scene it's a little confusing for a few reasons. They start driving for their field trip, and the driver immediately starts drinking some beers, which is very funny because I assume the reason the driver threw the crutches out of the SUV was because they're dangerous and could cause an accident. So him immediately drinking a beer after making a fuss about that, super funny.
What the hell are you doing? Put that away.
And also, another question, where is she supposed to be sitting in this shot? She's on the floor in the back seat? What the fuck's going on?
Be careful, you fool.
Everybody is doing everything wrong in this car, and shockingly, they get into an accident. All right, so everybody survived except for the driver, I guess. I mean, he's nowhere to be found. So I can only assume his body exploded and disintegrated upon impact. And obviously, everybody's freaking out. They don't know what to do.
The hell are we going to do?
They realize they don't have any cell phone service, so they decide to start walking to find some help. Remarkably, because, I mean, before the accident, everybody needed crutches to walk, but then they all get in an accident and everybody walks just fine. So it's a drunk driving miracle. We then cut to Cade aimlessly walking through an open field when he encounters every hiker's worst nightmare. A tiger. Man, Cade has got to be the most nonchalant dude in the world. Imagine walking through a field and a white tiger charges at you, and your reaction is just... But guys, what happens next is jaw-dropping. This CG tiger is reacting better to the punches than actual human beings. This fight scene goes on, again, for a very long time, but I have to admit, this is probably the best Neil Breen fight scene of all time. I honestly think the majority of the film's budget went to this fight scene. And I love that, dude. You're telling me we got a custom 3D animated tiger fight in a Neil Breen film? Before GTA 6? What a time to be alive, man. But let's see who wins the fight.
Stop. Get down. Let's go.
They were homies the whole time. But yeah, pretty cool. I didn't know you could do that with a tiger. I didn't know you could just squash beef like that. If only it was Siegfried and Roy and also Cade. Probably could have avoided some injury there. It's a good lesson though, man. If you're ever getting mauled by a tiger, you can just talk it out.
Okay, I've got a gut feeling you're upset with me. Okay, that was my kidney, but I guess that's why I have two of them. Listen, tiger, if you got something to say, I'm all ears. Ah! Guess I kind of walked into that one. Ah! All right, that's it. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Eat a huge dick. Kick me while I'm down.
So Cade is walking with this white tiger, and they spot the mental hospital patients. So the tiger turns into a woman, blows him a kiss, and disappears. You know, just classic tiger shit. And Cade tells the mental hospital people that he has a house nearby, and he offers for them to stay there for the night.
I've got a home over the mountain. You're welcome to stay there.
But obviously they're a little skeptical.
We don't know anything about you.
Which is a little confusing coming from her because both of them were literally just at the same fundraiser for that hospital that they came from.
Excellent work, Cade. We're all proud of you. We back you 100%. I don't trust this.
But anyways, they all agree to go stay at Cade's house for the night.
We need to stick together.
Yeah, brushed over that entirely too quickly. We need to stick together, or else the man in jeans will grab your arm and scream. They finally make it to Cade's house after a painfully long walk. And Cade obviously lives in a fucking castle, and all the patients have very normal reactions to it.
I love this place.
I just can't wait to get in there.
What a trip. Careful.
Holy shit! It's a castle!
I wonder if it's haunted.
We're going to a castle.
And once they get into the castle, oh man, Cade turns on the charm, and he is the most welcoming host of all time.
This is crazy.
This is awesome.
It's huge. Whoa.
You all look like a big happy family.
Hey, damn, Buddy on the ground cannot believe his eyes, dude. Holy fuck. I thought castles were made up, man. What the fuck?
Holy shit! It's a castle!
We then get a nice little flashback from Cade talking about his twin brother.
I haven't seen him for years.
And then everybody goes to sleep on the ground.
We're all just gonna stay right here on the carpet tonight.
Fucking big-ass castle with a million rooms, but everyone's like, nah, fuck it. I'm gonna thug it out on the ground.
Holy shit! It's a castle!
I'm a little confused, though, because the only reason they walked away from their drunk driving accident is because they didn't have cell phone service.
There's no damn cell phone service here!
But like, surely you have cell phone service now at his house, right? This man is like a tech millionaire. He's gotta have like internet, some way to call the police or something, right? Call an ambulance. All of you guys were just in a drunk driving accident, and the driver exploded. What kind of fucking nurses are you?
You get back down here. You get back down here right now, girl.
Yo, she's crazy.
Come back down now.
Get down from there, girl. Come on. You can't take her anywhere, man. But again, we're using those stairs, dude. Love to see it. And I know the plot has been pretty awesome and crazy so far, but it's about to get even crazier. One of the patients wakes up in the middle of the night and ends up getting chased by Cade's evil twin brother, Kale. That's right, guys. Cade's evil AI cyborg twin brother, Kale, has returned. And he is extra evil this time around. Yeah, man, he's out here grabbing limbs, man. He's not really doing anything else to you, but, you know, still not ideal. Dude, I don't want Kale appearing out of thin air. Unless we're talking about a salad. But we're not. This is a movie. So in the middle of the night, while Kale is running around his brother's house and grabbing limbs, Cade leaves his castle because he has some business to attend to.
I've got a crashed SUV to repair.
Yeah. So Cade walks all the way back to where they crashed their SUV, and he uses his superpowers to fix this destroyed SUV. Cade, you're the best superhero ever. I gotta say though, Cade's superpowers are like never really explained. He can duplicate himself. I guess he can manipulate matter. He has super strength. He has like every superpower, I think. It's kind of like when you find out all those things Superman can do and you're like, all right, man, enough. That's actually like not fair. Did you know that Superman can wipe people's memories with a kiss? That's a real thing he can do. I might need to make out with Superman after watching this movie, dude. But thanks to Cade's superpowers, the patients can go back to the mental hospital.
Go now. Be safe.
I don't know why they want to, though, considering the building is, like, dilapidated and filthy and falling apart. Like, you gotta be fucking crazy to want to go back there.
Be strong.
And I love this scene a lot because all the patients are in the SUV, like, pressing their hands against the window, you know, saying goodbye to Cade, right? And also thanking him. And first off, this nurse can't fucking believe it. And secondly, on the close-up shot, it's really funny because I guess they couldn't have the windows like rolled all the way up because then you'd be able to see the camera and the window's reflection. So to get around this, I guess Neil just had the actors pretend there was a sheet of glass between them, which looks so silly now because they're just they're all just holding their hands up like this. And it's just like, just don't have them do that then. If there's gonna be a reflection when they put their hands on, just don't have them put their hands on. Is that integral to the plot?
Go now. Be safe.
Okay, so we're now a half hour into the film, and Cade finally shows up to the hospital for the first time. By the way, this is the hospital he is donating millions of dollars of his own money to. And the place is a shithole, so obviously he's a little upset.
What the hell's going on here?
We're doing the best we can. We're trying.
That's not good enough.
And look, I totally understand him being a little upset that, you know, the money that he donated isn't really being used to fix the hospital, right? But also, at the same time, Cade, you have every superpower ever. I just watched you put a destroyed SUV back together. Why not just do that with the hospital? It's free. Or maybe that power is exclusive to SUV repair. I don't know. If that's the case, fucking duplicate yourself like you did earlier and have all those Cades lend a hand to like clean up the hospital. Like there's things you can do, man. This is like the equivalent of Bruce Wayne having like billions of dollars. And instead of donating that money to organizations that will like actually stop crime and poverty, he's just like, what if I'm an awesome bat instead? And I can break a guy's spine in half for selling a dime bag of weed. But anyways, the scene immediately after that one features the girl from before getting her arm grabbed by the arm grabber. And then we get probably my favorite scene in the whole movie.
It's a castle.
Let him cook, dude. Whoever passes me the aux in the Uber this summer, this is what I'm throwing on. Last year was a brat summer, okay? But I'm calling it. This summer, we're getting a fucking haunted mental hospital bathroom piano solo summer, dude. Cade spends the next few minutes walking around the hospital, getting absolutely disgusted by what he sees. And you know what? I don't blame him.
This is disgusting.
Man, you're not really helping. Now, guys, I know you may have some questions regarding the plot, but this is when the movie really starts to put some pieces together. So at the hospital, there's this like evil doctor conducting some kind of experiment on one of the patients, and it's not going the way it's supposed to.
Gene editing experiment is all wrong.
And then Neil does something really interesting here. Usually in films, they'll show you things that are happening, and then you, as a viewer, get to sort of figure things out on your own. That sounds fun, right? Wrong. I think it's much better when the character flat out addresses the camera and just outright explains everything they're doing and why.
I assist in the kidnapping of the youth to become experimental patients at the hospital. My payment for this is access to the gene editing drugs for my use.
So now we know. The hooded figure that keeps grabbing people's arms is Kale. He's the arm grabber. So he's kidnapping people, bringing them to this mental hospital. Or some of them, and when they're there, they get kidnapped again. And then they get experimented on. And if that's the case, why did the patients want to go back to the mental hospital? Like, why are they excited to go back, right? They're all kidnapped. Okay. But regardless, whatever. Once the people are at the hospital, then Kale kidnaps them again and moves them to a different part of the hospital. So I don't know if that's kidnapping. It's sort of just like non-consensually moving someone. I guess that's another way of kidnapping, I guess. And since Kale is doing this, he has access to the hospital's experimental gene editing drugs to cure himself of his sickness.
Hoping that they will cure me.
I also don't think he needs gene editing. They fit just fine. Yeah, this next part is also confusing because we see this guy, none of them have names really, but we'll call him the tall guy. So this tall guy's arm, it gets grabbed by Kale, but it's a little confusing because we saw him at the castle, right? And then we saw him at the hospital. So I don't know if this is a flashback when he got brought to the hospital or if he was kidnapped once, released, and then kidnapped again. Like, I don't know if this is a second kidnapping. I don't know.
Not again!
Yeah. All right, never mind.
Not again!
This is, in fact, the second time he's been kidnapped by Kale. Jesus Christ.
Never put a single thought of weakness into the flourishing mind of the patients.
What the hell are you talking about?
Cade, do something. Anything. You're a super-powered robot, and all you do the entire movie is aimlessly walk around this fucking haunted hospital, just saying a bunch of bullshit. Do something. Like, is he a fucking patient here? He must be. His superpowers and his evil twin brother, they have to be hallucinations. I'm convinced. This is Shutter Island, dude. Shitter Island. Anyways, we get a few more minutes of some random shit happening at the hospital.
Please don't let them hurt me anymore.
Holy shit! It's a castle!
And oh, guys, I haven't really touched on the acting yet, which is surprising. And I don't want to say it's bad. I really don't.
Get the hell out of here!
Oh. But I will say the actors definitely made some interesting choices, especially in this next scene.
Oh my God!
Amazing. No notes. That is definitely how human beings react when they see something terrifying. If you're confused about the Kale storyline here, don't fret, because in this next scene, we get some more exposition as to why Kale needs access to this gene editing medicine.
The artificial intelligence implants that were experimentally performed on us as children are failing on me, but seem to be working on Cade.
And while Kale is having an existential crisis, we cut to yet another shot of Cade just meandering around the hospital grounds, but this time he walks into hell, I think?
The only way of finding the limits of the possible is by going beyond that. We can make a difference with their kind.
All right, yeah, I do love that. No matter what is happening in a scene, Neil always has the exact same lifeless expression. I guess it was kind of smart to make himself a robot in these films, because now the lack of emotion kind of makes sense. But I swear to God, his character could be watching an orphanage burn to the ground, and he'd still just be like... When I enter the nonchalant contest and my opponent is Neil Breen. We then get some more pointless scenes with the police officers.
I got new information on the kidnapping of those patients.
And then we get this hilarious line from one of the nurses.
I've built a thriving business here, and I won't let anyone disturb it or spoil it for me.
If that hospital is a thriving business to you, I would hate to see a failing one. But then, by some miracle, the police officers show up to the mental hospital.
I can't believe patients live here. This place scares the hell out of me.
I could never live here.
Fucking Jesus, man. Worst cops ever.
I could never live here.
Yeah, man. It's not like they want to live there. They were kidnapped. You're also there to, like, rescue the people who are forced to live there, dude. What the fuck? Imagine a cop walking into an active crime scene and recreating that goofy meme. We then get another shot of a guy getting his arm grabbed by Cale, and then Cade confronts the blonde nurse.
What do you know about the patient trafficking that's going on here? What do you know about the gene editing research?
Okay, I fully thought Cade had, like, no idea about what was happening. Because, like, all he's done for the past few days is just, like, haphazardly, like, just roam around and just say pointless shit, you know? But I guess he's aware that there's, like, evil experiments happening on these people. He knows all of it is happening, and yet he's still donating the money, and he's still not doing anything about it. Cool.
You must know something.
Oh, buddy. I don't even think that lady knows where she is at the moment. Oh, yeah. Also, every 5 minutes in this movie, we get some shots of Cale walking around the hospital, just like straight up injecting like bloody needles into himself. And when he's not doing that, he's collapsing on the ground.
Who am I? What am I?
And I'm no doctor, but I feel like those two things are probably connected. Sorry, this movie like jumps around a lot, so it's tough to really know like how much time has passed. But in this next scene, Cade is at a different charity event with this blonde nurse, and he has his arm around her, so I guess they're dating now.
We're doing the best we can. Corporate is in charge of the work and the money.
That's not good enough. It's my damn money.
And I'm sorry if I'm beating a dead horse here, but do something, Cade. Beat a dead horse if you have to. That's something. That's more than what you're doing. You're both complaining about the safety and well-being of these patients while you're both at like this fancy party together. Assholes. Fucking assholes, dude. But at this gala, we get some very funny dialogue between the characters where they state their occupation before they say anything.
As an officer of the law.
As a member of the corporation.
As the director of the hospital.
As a police officer.
Also, dude, I just realized this. What the fuck did the cops do at the mental hospital? What did they even do there? They showed up and they were like, ew, this place is fucking gross. And then they dipped. What the fuck? Police, get your hands up! Oh, ew. Ew, this place is stinky. Let's get out of here, guys. I'm in the NYPD, not the NYPU. And guys, trust me, I know nothing really makes sense in this film, but that's why it's awesome, okay? And it's about to get even more awesome. We now cut to a courtroom scene where all the mental health patients are the jury, I guess. But the trial is also about like the well-being of the patient, so I don't know if that's allowed. I feel like that's a pretty big conflict of interest.
The patients deserve the best that we can give them.
He's the judge? Hold on.
They deserve every opportunity to succeed. And this law will do just that.
Okay, great. They passed a law that will help rescue these patients from that terrible mental hospital. Movie over, right? Wrong again. Right after that scene, all the patients are right back at the mental hospital, dude. I don't think a law was passed at all. I'm honestly surprised the fucking real judge didn't walk into that courtroom and was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Get out of here.
I really don't know where they're taking them, but I think it may be near the hospital or in the hospital.
Oh my god, dude. Okay, next we get yet another scene of the tall guy getting kidnapped. And look, man, I don't want to victim blame here, but how the hell are you gonna get kidnapped 3 times, dude? Yeah, it's a little crazy, you know? Kidnap me once, shame on you. Kidnap me twice, shame on me. Kidnap me 3 times? Come on, you know you want it. Maybe they keep bringing the tall guy back because they think it says Mental Hospital. So dumb.
The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to become.
Man, imagine you got kidnapped and locked up in an abandoned mental hospital. Every day people do experimental surgeries on you. There's a guy making weird music on a keyboard. You also just got into a drunk driving accident and probably have untreated injuries from that. You stay the night in this stranger's castle, and then you're brought to a courtroom by that stranger who gets your hopes up about a rescue only to immediately bring you right back to that same abandoned mental hospital. And while all of this awful shit is happening to you, there's a guy in a leather jacket walking around the mental hospital like, You know I'm a rich robot, right? That would drive me fucking crazy, man. I'd be like, help us! What are you doing?
Good night, sweet princes.
Okay.
And princesses.
Good save. Oh my god, I forgot about this part. Holy fuck. Okay. Guys, I will say, when this part happened in theaters, people went fucking wild. It was so much fun. Yeah, for no reason whatsoever. All the patients in the mental hospital break out into this choreographed dance routine. Is this what the gene editing is doing? Making everybody fucking sick at dancing? Billie Jean editing? Also, the fucking two nurses are there wearing wigs. I assume they didn't have enough actors for this big dance number. So I guess they had the actors who play the nurses just throw on some wigs to like be the other patients. And it's like, again, why? Nah, the random choreographed dance outside the abandoned mental hospital isn't really believable with only 4 people. You two, get in there. I'm not gonna lie though, they are fucking it up. They fuck it up so hard that they all summon spectral doppelgangers that dance beside them. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever dance that well. If they ever make it out of the hospital, they have a big future. They should go on that show. What's it called? So You Think You Can Summon Otherworldly Beings? After all the patients happily dance their troubles away for 2 uninterrupted minutes, we get another lengthy shot of Kale injecting more blood into his veins and falling all over the place. Shots of the patients freaking out, and the blonde nurse finds out the blonde patient has been killed.
What did they do to you?
Just overall, everything is sad and scary in the hospital right now. And where is our kind-hearted, super-powered protagonist during all of this? He's out in the forest canoodling with the blonde nurse.
I need you.
Bro. Can we talk about the political and economic state of that mental hospital right now, man? People are dying, Cade. And you're spending your time hugging this incompetent nurse, walking a few steps, hugging her again, getting down on your knees, and hugging her again. Now's not the time to get laid, Cade. There's people in there in straitjackets. You're in the forest straight jacket. It is a little difficult to care about this romance at this point of the film, but hey, it's a Neil Breen movie. He's got to hug and kiss the girl. But I hate to say it, we're almost at the end of this movie, okay? We cut to a shot of Kale with a bloodied face as he explains what's happening to him.
My AI systems are failing me, and my physical disintegration is proceeding.
All right, thank you for telling us. Now we cut back to Cade. Thankfully, he stopped making out with that girl. And guys, you're not going to believe it, but Cade is finally going to do something to rescue the patients. What do you think he's going to do? Do you think A, use his superpowers to repair the hospital? B, use his superpowers to kill the evil doctors? C, use his superpowers to help the victims escape? Or D, use his superpowers to just save his twin brother? What do you think? The answer is actually a secret 5th option. Cade decides to train the patients in hand-to-hand combat.
Very good, very good. Excellent, excellent work. Very nice fighting technique. That's the way to practice.
Cade, you're a bad guy. These are kidnapping victims. And you're there teaching them karate? I'm sorry, man, if you're not actively trying to free them or take down whoever kidnapped them, you're part of the problem, dude.
Use everything I've taught you.
You haven't taught them anything, man. You've been aimlessly walking around this hospital and mumbling to yourself for days, dude.
Eventually, a society of brave hearts will rise.
Later on that night, we see Cade back in the patient's room, and he gives them a little pep talk.
They are coming for you, my warriors. This is what I've been preparing you for.
Yeah, super funny they called them my warriors after talking to them for just one afternoon. Regardless, it is now time for the big climax of the movie. After all the no training from Cade, the patients now have the power and courage to stand up to their oppressors.
You're done!
The tall guy strangles the evil doctor to death, and the evil corporation is destroyed.
The gene editing experiment is going well. Patients are money.
Oh my god. Okay, fuck. Sorry, that genuinely scares me every time. Also, did Cade make them explode? Is that another one of his superpowers? He can just make things explode wherever? So he doesn't use his superpowers to save the kidnapping victims, but he'll use it for terrorism. Yes! Nice. We now cut back to the mental hospital where Cade is now fighting some masked bad guys. I also don't know if I'd use the word fighting because he's kind of just like standing there while the bad guys just miss every single punch and kick that they throw. And then we get a nice recycled scene from earlier in the film.
Damn, we need to make this an even fight.
I'll tell you though, this next scene is not recycled though. This is a brand new one.
I am the winged warrior.
Okay, I'm fully convinced this is all just a shared psychosis that all of these people are experiencing. I am a winged warrior. This fight scene where nobody lands a single punch goes on for a very long time, and I think the sequence truly shows the genius of Neil Breen. In every acting class I've ever been in, when they teach you like stage fighting, you know, they tell you to like position your body in a way so when you throw the punch, the audience doesn't see the fist actually isn't hitting anything, right? But to the audience, it looks like the fist is hitting the person, right? But again, Neil Breen is like, fuck that shit. That's been done before, right? Let's go full profile shot. So you know there isn't a single punch connecting, okay? And let's take it one step further. No sound effects. Everybody knows movies are only allowed one punch sound effect, and I already used that up when I got hit by that train. But after an incredibly lengthy fight scene, like a really long fight scene, the only person left standing is Cade. Everybody is dead now. I guess that single afternoon of training wasn't enough. Hey man, their blood is on your hands.
Courage is the first of human qualities, because it is the quality that guarantees all others.
Okay. Holy fuck, that was a long silence there, dude. Do you think Neil was planning for like an Andrew Garfield and No Way Home type moment? You know that scene when Andrew Garfield jumps out of the portal and he's just like... because they knew that the crowd was going to be going fucking crazy, right? Maybe that's what he was expecting. And that clip of Andrew Garfield is awkward to watch, and it's like 4 seconds long, maybe. This was like 30 seconds. Didn't you think people were going to be freaking out for 30 seconds at that line?
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Courage is the first of human qualities, because it is the quality that guarantees all others.
But finally, a glimmer of hope, okay? The cops are on their way. I mean, for a second time, I guess. I forgot they're already there. But they do something this time, I hope.
What is that?
They're wings from a winged warrior.
Okay, yeah. Honestly, if I were those cops, I'd fucking leave too, dude. They're wings from a winged warrior. All right, yeah, this guy's insane.
Cal, where have you been? I knew you were here. I could feel your presence. I'm so ashamed.
Kate, I'm so ashamed. Look what's happened to me.
Wow. Heartbreaking performance. This really is the year of actors playing multiple versions of themselves, you know? And it's impressive how he changes his performance, you know, when he's Cade versus when he's Kale. Like I said earlier, man, superpowers or not, you gotta look both ways. But guys, this is the final showdown between these twins, and I think they're gonna figure it out. I think they can talk this through, and I think they'll make it through together.
Kill me! Kill me, Kate! Kill me!
Or, yeah, he could summon a sword and stab his twin brother through the neck. That works too. And again, could have summoned that sword fucking days ago and killed that evil doctor, but no. Had to teach karate and hug a girl. You know what? I think the movie could end here, but obviously, it does not. Huh? Okay, so you could use your powers to change the hospital. There's the confirmation right there, dude. But the only thing you do is change the name of it? Asshole. Okay, yeah, and also I guess the patients didn't die. From what I'm gathering, I think the patients have somehow progressed into like the next stage of human evolution. That's what one afternoon of training did with Cade.
You are now my warriors, caretakers of justice.
These are my new Avengers. We then cut to some of the patients doing an impression of my car keys before I go drinking.
Don't forget us!
And then we get an emotional goodbye from Cade.
I've got to go. I'll be right here.
That's just a line from E.T. Funny enough, it's also how the prequel to this film, Twisted Pair, ends.
I'll be right here.
But in this emotional moment, Cade walks away and leaves everybody behind.
They will never forget us.
Okay, not yet, sorry.
I will never leave you.
The fuck? Then why'd you say goodbye? Okay.
I've got to go.
I will never leave you.
Damn, dude, it really kept me on my toes there. More movies gotta do that, man. Make you think one thing and then immediately abandon that idea. What's in the fucking box? Your wife's head. No, you're lying. You're a liar. There's no way. You're lying. Yeah, you got me. I am. Sorry. Oh. Okay, so what's in the box? Dang, I forget, actually. Can you check? Okay, well, it can't be that bad. What is it? It's your wife's head. So no head? I gotta take you to jail.
No, I hate jail.
Hollywood, take notes, man. Start putting that shit in your movies. But anyways, the movie ends with Cade and the nurse walking off into the forest as the credits roll. Made in the USA. Nice, man. These are the movies we can look forward to if Trump actually goes through with those fucking movie tariffs, too. That's sweet. So there you have it, man. That was Cade the Tortured Crossing. Sorry this video is so long, but there's just so many things to address, and I left out a lot also. So like I said, please go watch this full movie. It is so much fun. Honestly, it was a blast when I saw it in theaters. It's a blast when I watch it on digital. Jury's still out if it's a blast to watch on DVD, because I never received mine, but I assume it's probably the same as digital. Neil took a big chance filming an entire movie on a green screen. That is not only a lot of work during the post-production process, but it's also a huge undertaking during the pre-production, like finding all of the photos and stuff, because like there are scenes where he's like specifically like ducking under stuff. Like everything was planned very meticulously. And you know, you can't forget about all the stairs. So you can tell there's a lot of work that went in. I think that's great. And at the very core of this film, there is a really cool idea there. But just some aspects of it made it just a little frustrating. Like the fact that we still don't know what happened to that drunk driver. You know, what the gene editing surgeries were actually for, or the fact that Cade is essentially Superman. He has like every superpower ever, yet he doesn't do anything at all to actually like save the people who need his help. But like I've always said, every movie is good, and this one is no exception, because this film, funnily enough, actually taught me a lot. This movie is about a super-powered cyborg who spends most of his time aimlessly and disappointedly walking the halls of this abandoned hospital that he personally donated millions of dollars of his own money towards. And he is constantly upset by the fact that his money isn't being utilized the way he intended it to be utilized. And that really struck a chord for me, you know? Because like I said at the beginning of this video, years ago, I genuinely tried to give money to Neil to help fund this movie. This movie. A movie about when you give large amounts of your own money to someone embarking on a business venture, you never really know how they're going to use it. And they often don't use the money the way that you would probably use that money. So in a roundabout way, me not being able to donate money to this movie taught me that it was probably a good thing that I was unable to donate money to this movie. This probably would have been me the whole time if I was able to actually fund this movie.
This is my money. What the hell's going on?
Regardless, Cade the Tortured Crossing gets a 9 out of 10 from me. I'll bump it up to a 10 when I get the DVD. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Okay, if you did, please press a like button, because believe it or not, 1 like equals 1 tiger that I will square up with. Okay, I promise. Leave a comment. Let me know your thought, and let me know if you actually buy and watch this movie, okay? Because I can't stress it enough. You guys have to watch the full thing. It is fucking awesome. Press the subscribe button if you want, because the second you do, you become a valued citizen of Kurtistown. If you didn't know, Kurtistown is the best place to live in the world, and I'm the mayor. So you have to be nice to me. It's the law. Come see me on tour. I'm doing a bunch more shows in the U.S. These are the last shows in the U.S. on the Goodfellow World Tour, okay? So this is your last chance to see me in the States, okay? Come on out. It's going to be a good time. All right, that's it. I would stick around, but unfortunately, I have to go. There's a very slow train about to hit me. See ya.